right, KB2 UKA. We're live on YouTube.
Cool. KC2HTV.
Very nice, very nice. W2VOM. Enough to take a look and see what you're seeing there.
Yeah, just look to the right of my band pass. You'll see it in the waterfall, too. Right
Can I
there.
receive that too?
Oh, yeah. Just go to youtube.com. YouTube.com and put in the search box in YouTube, put my call sign, KB2UKA. It'll bring you right to my channel, and click the video that says live. Up, Alex. Trump 2024, baby.
You know, Carl spends half his time watching your live feed when he's talking, right?
I know he does. I rarely do it at this time on this frequency. I rarely put it on. I usually do early morning or later in the evening. But I figured, why not? Why not?
I think it was early this year. Let me see if I got it. I was on the 7851 and I watched it. I don't know what we had up here, but it was similar. It would track from left to right across the band. I mean, it'd take it a while, but when it hit in the area where it was in your pass band, it was an annoying noise.
Oh, yeah, well, I've seen that also. I've seen that where it just slowly creeps up or down the band. It's like a 1.5K carrier. Kind of, you know, like AM carrier is very thin. This is like a little bit wider, and it'll just move slowly up the band. That's not what this is. This is definitely a solid signal.
Yeah, I heard that one just go up the band, too. Yeah, I'm not seeing that at all here, but I see it on yours. Holy smokes.
Yeah, and then at the top of it, there's a guy transmitting. But it's light. It's light. It's not that heavy. But there it is, right there.
I don't know how true it is, but I was told the other one was actually buoys. We have some buoys down the Hudson River, and I guess there's some off the coast or in the Bay regions that if you get the buoy signals, it'll do that. It'll track across the band.
Interesting. Why? Because they're moving a little bit?
Not has something the way that they're set up. I have no idea. I know it's similar to trunking as to what they're doing.
Very, very interesting. So, well, if it's moving up the band, it's got to be, it's like spinning a VFO slowly, right? Just like a dead key and then like a carrier and then just slowly spinning the VFO because it's changing frequency. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, I got heavily involved in that thread in QRZ. If you look in there about that stuff, you'll see me in there a few times. Another one that I found when I was still in the military, and it still tracks true today, you have the ones that go straight up like that. They're almost like a narrow band FM. If you can demodulate that signal, you will see it's actually data, and the banks use that at certain hours of the night.
Very interesting. Yep. And sometimes it'll look like, well, I guess similar to the Mars stuff. It'll look like devil horns, like two carriers in one.
Yep, and it's kind of cool because this used to be their work band, and we're kind of like horned in on it, but that's cool.
Well, you don't see it so much anymore, but remember late 80s, probably all through the 90s and even the early 2000s, banks all had a dish on the side of the building. That was definitely for transactions.
Speaking of trip down memory lane, do you remember BPL?
That sounds familiar. What was that?
Broadband over power lines. What a wreck. It almost totally destroyed their amateur community.
Wait, they were sending data over power lines?
Oh, yeah, and they wanted to do it here, too. They thought they could actually notch it out but they never got it. And in the test areas, it was totally destructive.
Thank God that didn't pass here.
Wow. So they're sending data at the same time that they're sending kilovolts of AC electricity.
Yeah, it doesn't bother the RF energy, I guess, but yeah, that's exactly right. I know up here, the rail system that we have in place, we've got a lot of rails running through our community, and they send data down those too. If you get up near the post office, which is right next to the railroad tracks, your cell phone coverage drops out to almost nothing.
That's interesting. Very interesting. Well, yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. Like even here, I'm sending 12 volts DC through my coax to an outdoor remote tuner to power it. So I've got the coax comes out of the amplifier and then plugs into a bias T, and then the other end of the bias T is the antenna.
Yeah, I've got the I think it's the R4B at the RF part cells, and it switches my hex beam and 2 wires and a vertical, and there again it's 12 volts and RF.
Yep. So I have no controls to the tuner in the shack. It's all outside. So if I ever wanted to fine tune it, I got to go out there and pop the case off and run back and forth between the shack and the tuner. So luckily it just tunes everywhere, no more than like 1.3 to 1.
That's cool stuff. If they ever made the AH4, I think it was ICOM had that AH4, or was it Yaesu? I don't know. One of them had that. You could bolt it on the tower leg, but it wouldn't take the the power I run. So, but I do have a couple of those 998Bs in here. I think they're cool as hell. They do take up a little tabletop, but man, they will tune a fence post.
Well, that's what I have outside. I have the 998 RT, the remote one. It's the same circuitry. That thing, it'll tune anything. So I've got a 4-to-1. I've got a Ballon design 4-to-1 Ballon barrel connected to the coax connector on the back of it outside, and then the ladder line connects right to the Ballon, and it's right underneath the apex. It's 70 feet below the apex of the antenna, straight down.
Getting the best of all worlds there. That is excellent. I never even thought. Yeah, I remember they did make the remote for these, the remote version. The thing I like about them, I could use them with a 704 switch, one of the Ameritron switches, and run my tube type stuff on it. And this amp, the AL82, is tied into the 998. So if I see a high SWR over 3.1, it'll shut the amp down. The same on my 80B. Reason being is I burned up some antennas before.
Oh wow! Well, I bought when they were going out of business. I bought another one. I have it here, brand new in the box. Because to get a remote legal limit tuner is hard to come by. There's an expensive one out there. The link to it's on the TrueLadderline.com website. I think it's like 5 kilowatts. It's a fully balanced remote tuner. So that's really what I should be using, and I could get rid of the Ballon. But what's it going to, like the efficiency, what am I right now? I'm probably like 93% efficient. That'll bring me up to 97% efficient. It's not going to be noticeable.
Yep. If MFJ is for the bang for the buck, that was the best tuner out there. Like I said, I like my desktops. I just plop the amp on top of it and away I go. And I can flip the one. I can put the 704 switches actually into the MFJ of the 998. So when I'm running my tubed equipment, I have full control and I don't have to worry about transient voltage spikes or any of that kind of poo-poo. It's nice. They made some pretty good stuff, but if I had my druthers for my situation, all my antennas are resonant. I'd like to get my hands on a really nice alpha amp that has the built-in tuner, because the protection circuitry in those amps was incredible.
Oh yeah. So if you're you're using coax on all those antennas, then correct? No ladder line.
No, both of mine are NI4L designed antennas. The reason I went with those is because they use a 12 gauge that's super flexy, and it takes UV with a passion. And he's got the 5K matching transformer on the bottom. They're off center fed. Oh, yeah, both of them are off center fed. One and the other is a 80 through 6. So they're pretty hefty, and those cans on the bottom are like a small coffee can. So you have to have some pretty good pull to get them up there. And I fed them with what the hell is that? It's a light version from RF Parts, 400 light, I believe it is.
You know what? I'm looking at this right now. I need to put up a dedicated 160. This might not be a bad choice. I would probably feed it, especially that it's 160. I'd probably feed it with like 8X, because it's light. I don't want to hang 213, because that's all the way up at the top of the apex. All right, I'm going to take a look at these. These look well built.
I have the NI4L 160 through 6. That's a hell of an antenna. I used it once already for field day, and it's long. I think 366 feet. But what an antenna! My God, I could hear a fly farting 4 states away on 160.
Yeah, I'm looking at the specs now. All right, 2 kilowatts, which is fine. What is the overall damn length of this thing? It's got to be 240 feet, I would think.
Yeah, I believe it's longer than that. My my dedicated 80 from them is 155 feet. So I'd imagine you're around 300 for the 160.
All right, well, I would do it as an inverted V. Just got to get that apex up as high as I can and then drop the lines down.
I set it up last year as a rhombic, and it worked exceptionally well. It was crazy.
Really, is a rhombic? Huh. And then I guess wherever you put that ballon, that feed line connector would decide the pattern of the antenna that way.
Absolutely, but I didn't have much choice in that matter because I was set up my equipment in the Cairo Firehouse over in just outside of Catskill, the Cairo Firehouse, and I wanted the short leg toward the firehouse. I still needed, I think it was 100 foot of 213 Super Flexi we fed it with, and it was pretty nice.
Yeah, 160 is the only band that I'm not on right now. I got 80 through 10 here with the doublet. I could extend the doublet, but I don't want to mess with it, man, because it works so well. I don't want to take anything away or add anything to it. So I have room to put another antenna up. So maybe I'll just do a dedicated half wave on 160. And I have a tuner. I have an AT4K brand new sitting on the floor here. I could tune the 160 with that.
Absolutely, but like I said, the NI4Ls they're they're right on the money as far as you not needing a tuner. But like I said, I'm gun shy. I smoked a Buxcom Communications 160 I had up out back, and it was called a folded dipole. So it was 110 feet long. I believe the spreaders were around 18 to 20 inches, somewhere in that range, and it came to like a triangle on each end, and it was a great antenna on 160. But I ran too much power into it and fried the matching transformer. You could see the white PVC up there turn brown. It was that bad, and it took my amp out too. I mean, it flattened all the tubes.
Oh wow. Yeah, I would think on 160, you would need a tuner at the top and the bottom of the band, right? Like if I have him cut this thing for the middle of the band, I'm sure you're gonna approach 2 to 1 at the top and the bottom.
Yeah, but figure it this way: most of our equipment will take three. Two's not bad at all. I'm looking. Most of mine was set for digital, so I'm on the lower end of the on the lower end of the band, but I still use it. I mean, with the tuner, it knock it from like a 1.3 to 1 down to flat.
Yeah, my solid state amp, I have it programmed to go into fault at 2 and above. I could play with that, like I can make it 3, but because of the LD Moss and all that, I leave it at 2. As long as I'm like no more than 1.8, I'd be fine. So well, I'll try it and we'll see what the SWR curve is along the whole band. But I think I can get one of these bad boys up, no problem.
Yeah, if you do some research on that, it explains how he got started with his father. I think that was about like 32 years ago, and I spoke with him on the phone a couple times when he first started out and asked him questions, and he's very knowledgeable. But that wire he uses, he's the only one I know of in the amateur community that has that wire. It's a very special wire. I believe it's actually silver coated copper, but it is you could throw it in cold weather, and it's like it was in the warmth. I mean, it's so supple.
FlexWeave, I have 500 feet of it here.
Yeah, and that shit's strong.
It's strong, it doesn't kink, and it's light.
Yeah, I give it at least a 7 for kink power, but yeah, I managed to kink it up.
Well, compared to like, the Home Depot stuff, the what is that? THNNN? Or THIN, but that stuff kinks easily. This stuff is difficult to kink. What is it? Is that a 1-to-1 at the? Okay, hold on. Let me see. Trying to just see. Yep, it's a 1-to-1 single core. That's what he's got at the Apex.
Yep. And I'll tell you what, the 5Ks are extremely heavy, but I have one on the 80 set up with the 3K on it, so that's the one you're getting. I don't have any problem bringing that up, even if I don't use it as an Apex and just let it hang. No problem getting it up with coax on it. But the only thing I did there is run 25 feet into the external switching box. That makes it a little bit shorter, and it doesn't have to pull that much coax up. And both ends are suspended. All my ends of my clips are suspended with 40-pound sash weights on pulleys.
See, that's the right way. What I have here, I just have, I use a fishing drone that can hold 7 pounds. I fly, I drop 3 lines. I dropped a center line for the apex and then a line for each leg. And the rope, the Dracon rope is just pulled over the canopy of the tree and tied to an eye hook in the base of the tree. That's it.
Yes, how I used to have it. I actually got a KC2HTV, Rick and Kennewick Lake, New York. I actually had when I put the hex beam up 3 years ago, I needed a bucket lift, so I went up there and I trimmed all the tree branches back because I liked it to ride. In the wintertime, I used to use that, you mentioned it, the number 12 THHN, good wire, but man, it is stiff. Oh my God, you could put 2 pieces together and use it for a walking cane. But now that I've got this stuff up there, I'm not really worried about it. But I actually went up and tied the Dacron rope to the tree itself, about 3 wraps, and then I put the marine grade pulleys up there, 3-inch, and then I ran that down to the Dacron to pull up the antennas. And of course, like I said, the sash weights, man, they're so easy to get. Just drill a hole through the lead, put it on there, and away you go.
Yep. Well, sounds good, Rick. Very, very UKA. Why don't we let Brian jump in? Anybody else in there? Brian, you still there? I think we hogged it, Rick.
No, man. Yeah, no, I was just running around here doing a few things. I put some AAA and AA batteries on the charger. And, yeah, just listening. I've got my wireless headphones on here. I've got these, what are they? The Sennheiser HDR 120s, man. These things are beautiful. I just wish they had a microphone on them.
I got a pair of Bose wireless headphones here, and I don't have them hooked up right now. But on the Mac, I could just connect them via the Bluetooth, and then I have a Bluetooth transmitter. Because this PC's custom built, but I didn't have a Bluetooth. I ripped the Bluetooth component out of it because I needed room for something else. And so what I do is I put the transmitter coming out of one of my audio interfaces, and then I can monitor everything wirelessly through the house. But I don't have it hooked up right now. But it is great when you got it work.
Oh, it's beautiful, man. Yeah. These aren't Bluetooth, actually. These are RF. It's an RF transmitter up in the higher 400 megahertz range, I think. And it's also encoded, so you couldn't just listen to it on a scanner, you know. You wouldn't hear the audio. But yeah, they're wonderful, man. I love it. There's no delay to them either, you know, with the RF transmitter.
Oh, that's interesting. And if you have them on and you transmit, you don't get any interference?
No, you won't hear nothing unless you have the monitor turned on, you know.
All right, very cool. Very, very cool. Oh, man, it's 2 o'clock. I don't know if I'm going to make it till midnight tonight. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm already shot.
Yeah, they're called the Sennheiser. I think that's how you pronounce that. Sennheiser HDR 120. And I've got two sets of them. I got one that's hooked up to my television. You know, because sometimes when you're watching TV alone and you don't want to have it super loud, but you can't hear the damn thing, you know, so. And then, of course, I got the one on the rig here. And I've got a backup here in case I break these if I drop them or something.
I'm looking at them right now. The base is relatively large that you could sit them on.
Yep, and that's what connects to whatever device you're plugging into, and that'll transmit it to the headphones, and it's also a charger.
Yeah, these are interesting. Crystal clear, Sennheiser sound, 3 sound modes to choose from: lightweight, volume control, all-in-one transmitter, docking station, and charger. Not bad.
They make some microphones that put my electric voices to shame. Sennheiser's some really good stuff.
Yeah, they do. They also make really, really good studio headphones, wired.
Yeah, I'm listening to you guys talking. I'm in the Stone Age here.
What the hell was I going to tell you now? Oh, they're open ear. They're open ear, so you can still hear what's going on around you.
I have a Voice Master. Basically, it's a voice frequency range, 3-foot long box, speakers in it. So I just cranked it, and you guys sound like, you know, FM on it. So I cranked that up, and I can hear it throughout the house. And then I got another radio downstairs for working in the shop. But as far as the wireless headset, man, that's above my realm. I do have a set of studio headsets here. And I bought one of them Pro 7s. I haven't even taken it out of the box yet from Bobby Heil's Pro 7. It's got a, you know, you can talk with it and everything, but everything is wired.
Yeah, I love it. I'm so, and they sound great. They sound fantastic. The quality of the audio is beautiful. But it just gives me the freedom, and if I was wired to headphones, man, I'd be breaking the headphone jack, man, because I'd be pulling on that damn thing too much or something. But yeah, this here I can go grab a cup of coffee and still be in the game, you know.
All right, gentlemen. Well, speaking of cup of coffee, I think I'm going to go make myself one. I am shot. Maybe this will give me a little kick in the butt for the rest of the day. I'll be back down here in a little bit. Rick, Brian, take care. I shouldn't be too long. KB2 UKA.
Yeah, when you come back, I need to hear what's going on at midnight.
I just want to stay up to see if I could figure out who the damn president is.
Oh, okay.
Now, I know Arizona and Pennsylvania said it's going to take them 10 to 12 days. I'm just hoping he steamrolls all the other states where it doesn't even matter. So we'll see. I mean, hopefully we know tonight, but I have a feeling it's going to be some shenanigans. So I think we're going to have to wait. All right, I'll be back. KB2 UKA.
You know, we haven't had a landslide since Reagan. I'd love to see it. KC2HTV.
Well, I was telling Brian earlier, when Reagan won in 80, New York was the first state they called for him. Imagine that if that happens tonight. Holy schmoly. KB2 UKA. I'll be back.
It's feasible.